I'm Ross Kemp. I've always had an affinity with the ocean, and in particular, shipwrecks.
This is a proper shipwreck.
Many of my ancestors served at sea.
This is very much like the one that my grandfather drove during the Second World War.
Some were shipwrecked, and some sadly lost their lives.
They're ready to go to war, and out of nowhere, this tremendous explosion.
Now I'm a qualified commercial diver, and in this series, I will be traveling further and diving deeper than ever before.
It's critical on this dive that we're all on our game.
Helped by my trusted dive team,
How good was that?
It was one of the best dives I've ever had.
I'm going to plunge into lost worlds
Oh, wow.
to find clues
It is a treasure trove of Second World War history.
and recover treasure.
It's silver!
So this could be a piece of the Mary Rose.
I'll reveal how these ships went down
Why's she under the sea?
That's for you boys to discover, isn't it?
and unlock some of our greatest maritime mysteries.
Is this potentially a new wreck?
That's what I think.
The pressure is intense and the stakes are high.
Mallory, where are you? Ross, you need to come up. Can anyone hear me?
As I become a deep-sea treasure hunter. In this episode, I continue my journey into the heart of the Red Sea in search of artifacts from the British Empire.
Stand by. Okay, go.
One wreck has more treasure on it than I've ever seen, including something with a family connection.
Wow, this is a shipwreck. A proper shipwreck.
I make my deepest dive so far,
It's incredibly tight with all the kit that I'm wearing. Very difficult.
the extraordinary visibility gives us new problems underwater.
Mallory, can you hear me? Mallory, can you hear me?
And I discover how the Nazis attempted to change the course of the war with a deadly secret mission.
This is where the German bomb hit the ship. Look at the devastation. It's torn it apart.
I'm traveling up the Red Sea from the coastal port of Hurghada to the mouth of the Gulf of Suez. It's an ancient trade route and one the British Empire used for over 500 years to trade goods, supplies, and arms to its colonial outposts. But during the Second World War, it gained a new strategic importance, one that was crucial to the fight against Hitler.
This part of the Red Sea is known as the ship's graveyard because of the amount of merchant vessels that have been wrecked on the treacherous reefs out there. But there are two ships that are of particular interest to me, not because they were wrecked on the reef, but because they were hit by the German Luftwaffe during the Second World War. My family were involved in that conflict, and that's why I'm looking forward to diving on those wrecks.
To get to these wrecks, I need to spend a week living at sea. Once again, I'm with my trusted dive team, legendary dive master Neil Brock and diving archaeologist Mallory Hass.
Well, here we are, Ross. Out in the sunshine, Red Sea. You can imagine in the war, this was a really popular spot. But the problem is, you've got this narrow passageway here. That
Which
all the
makes it a
boats
very
would
good
be.
target.
Exactly, and the Germans knew that as well.
For much of the Second World War, a series of battles were fought for control over North Africa. At stake was access to the Allied-controlled Suez Canal, the world's single most important trade route. This was the only way to resupply troops in desperate need of food and ammunition. By 1941, the Germans and Italians had blocked access to the Mediterranean from the west. So British cargo ships resupplying Allied troops were forced to take the old trade route around the Horn of Africa and up through the Suez Canal. One of these ships was the WWII-era. At anchor, waiting to travel through the Suez Canal, she was sunk by the Luftwaffe. It was a highly dangerous act for these German bombers to target her. They were on a 1,000-mile round trip from their nearest base in Crete and at the limits of their aircraft's capabilities. So what was so special about the WWII-era? That's what I'm hoping to find out.
We're on our way to the wreck of the WWII-era.
Yep. It's going to be the deepest wreck you guys have done so far.
Yeah.
Not to be taken lightly. We're a long way down.
What's the bottom?
Ooh, 55.
All right, deep.
Yeah, seriously deep. You know, you can come unstuck at them depths.
Every dive needs a plan, and for one this deep, Neil has left nothing to chance.
Okay, guys, we've been working up to this now for the last 8 months or so.
In terms of the amount of time that we can spend that deep, how long are we going to do this dive for, sir?
Well, 30 metres normally gives you 25 minutes no stops time.
Oh, right.
So, you know, if you're hugging the seabed around about 36 metres, we're not going to get any more than 17, 18 minutes. Obviously, if you're going into holes, you're going to be going deeper, you're going to be exceeding the maximum operating depth of your gas. That's got problems in its own. The big issue is you can't go below 36 because of that nitrox mix we got in the cylinders.
Too much oxygen.
Too much oxygen, it'll become toxic, yeah.
This is the deepest dive of my life. I'm more aware than ever of the dangers.
Your switch block is reset.
Although I only have 17 minutes to discover exactly why the WWII-era was targeted by the Germans, it's imperative I stick to our dive plan. There is no room for error.
Yeah, looking good. Take your time. All right, Ross. Where you go, bud, hold your mask.
She's so deep, it's a long time before the wreck emerges from the gloom.
It's approaching the wreck, over.
At a depth of nearly 30 meters, eventually she comes into view. The wreck of the 108-meter-long WWII-era sits upright on the seabed with her hull almost entirely intact. The lifeboat deck, engine room and bridge are clearly evident, with the hatches to all 4 coal holds open to the elements.
That's the bridge there, yeah?
Mallory and I need to work quickly to try and uncover what was so special about the WWII-era. There's only 17 minutes on the clock.
Okay. Yeah, good, mate. Let's go that way. Yeah.
Running along either side of the ship is the crew's companionway, the path between the bow and the stern.
On the companionway now. It's incredibly tight with all the kit that I'm wearing. It's very difficult.
I check my depth gauge. We're at 36 meters.
So, this is the deepest we've been.
With just 7 minutes of bottom time left, it's a mystery as to why this ship was such a prize target and what, in addition to coal, she might have been carrying.
That's one of the coal holds, Ross. And they would have been full of Welsh coal, the best burning coal. That was obviously desperately needed for the war effort.
There's still plenty of coal here, but no sign of anything else.
The hole really is quite eerie.
There's another one of the holes here. I'm looking for the bomb damage. That to me looks like bomb damage, the way it's been ripped apart. This is where the German bomb hit the ship. Look at the devastation. Torn it apart. You have to ask the question, why would they have flown so far just to sink a coal ship?
Jack.
120 bar over.
Understood.
Our time is up.
Take your time, guys. All that training and effort you put into it worthwhile?
Yes,
Good, good.
I've got a good dive mark, so that's why.
Yeah, it's up, man. A long way down, isn't it?
I may have managed my deepest dive, but I found nothing to explain why the Luftwaffe went to such lengths to sink the Rosalie molar. I'm told my next dive may reveal all.
It is mind-blowing. Time to stop still here when this ship sank.
But I'm so enthralled by this wreck, I suddenly realise I don't know where Mallory is.
Where's Mallory, guys? You okay, Mallory?
Ross, can you hear me?
Without us realising, Mallory has been hit by a severe bout of vertigo, which occurs when the visibility is very good. The brain struggles to process the surroundings, which results in a feeling of dizziness and disorientation.
Mallory, can you hear me? Mallory, can you hear me?
There's only one course of action.
Neil, I'm coming to the surface. Leaving bottom now. Going to do a 3-minute safety stop.
Roger, understood. She's with Mark or Paul. I think it's Mark. Mark?
On board, Neil immediately wants to understand what's happened.
Okay. What was there?
Oh,
Issue?
I got a big thing of vertigo.
Okay, yeah, no, good call. I'd always rather people make that call than push their luck. So 10 out of 10 for effort. Let's get you sat down. Surface to all divers. Mal is on board. Mal is on board.
Mallory is understandably shaken.
Yeah, I was trying to focus on it.
We saying an abort, yeah?
Yeah, this is an abort.
It's all those things that play into, like, you know, it's one thing that you're diving, it's another thing to be working up underwater to be able to do something. Like, you've got things to achieve, which is where you end up getting into problems.
That's what I've been doing all my life.
Mallory is happy to dive again, but for safety's sake, we need to take a 2-hour surface interval.
What do they say about dive boats? Is it dive, eat, sleep?
That's all you do. Yeah, three,
And then
4
repeat.
dives a day.
You do feel tired after it, I mean, I have to say.
You genuinely feel tired because of the nitrogen loading you're getting.
Why does it make you feel so hungry?
Well, you're putting a lot of effort in. You've got best part of 40 kilos on your back. You're jumping in, swimming around.
I'm probably a lot of people watching this programme saying, Ross, you could do with losing 40 kilos.
With our surface time over, we kit up. We are heading back down to the Thistlegorm to see if we can find out why the Germans flew over 1,000 miles to bomb both her and another ship, the WWII-era, a strategically insignificant coal supply vessel.
You okay, Mallory?
Okay.
The 126-metre-long Thistlegorm sits upright on the seabed. Her bow is almost entirely intact, although the aft has been blown apart by 2 German bombs.
The winch gear on the front, quite honestly, doesn't look like it's been down here this long. We're living a good scrape. You probably could use it again.
Just over the bow is the entrance to the hold.
Should we go in the hold, yeah? Amazing.
The hold contains secrets that I've never seen before on any other wreck. Most of its contents are still intact and perfectly preserved.
There's lorries here upside down. Look at all these motorcycles destined to cross the desert. Old BSA. They've still got the rubber tyres on them. Gosh, there's just so much equipment here. Box after box, vehicle after vehicle. Time just stopped still here when this ship sank.
When it comes to wrecks, because so many of them have been plundered, for me as an archaeologist, it's amazing to see a vessel full of cargo that was intended to win the war.
And then I come across something that makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up.
These trucks here. These vehicles are exactly the same as the ones that my grandfather would have driven during the Second World War in the desert. It's amazing to think that these trucks were destined ultimately to fight at Tobruk against Rommel in a desert campaign. I'm touching a bit of my own family's history. Quite amazing. It is mind-blowing. It is a treasure trove of Second World War history.
The cargo was intended for troops at Tobruk who were in urgent need of supplies.
Oh, look. Yeah, it's the guard on the back of the deck.
To protect her precious cargo, the Thistlegorm was armed with anti-aircraft and a 4.7-inch gun.
Although known commonly as anti-aircraft guns, these were anti-anything guns. They were also used for shooting submarines.
The Thistlegorm is proving to be a once-in-a-lifetime dive, but I'm still no closer to understanding why she and the WWII-era were targeted.
This could be something important.
And then we find something that could solve the mystery. Live ammunition.
Yeah, look, there are shells here that haven't been struck, but still very much alive.
I'm currently 25 meters underwater in the Red Sea near the mouth of the Suez Canal, a key route for ships resupplying the Allied troops fighting in North Africa during World War II. We're looking for clues on the wreck of the Thistlegorm as to why the Germans took a 1,000-mile round trip to bomb her and another supply ship, the WWII-era, within a few days of each other in October 1941. We've just found the place where the bombs hit.
There's absolute devastation here. Look at the damage, how much the hull has been twisted and destroyed.
The destruction is widespread, and there's a good reason why.
Oh, this could be something important.
The wreck is strewn with powerful ammunition.
We're now looking at a 15-inch shell, which is about as long as me. And there's at least 3, 4, 5, 6 of them right here.
But these would have been destined possibly for naval guns at Alexandria to help defend the port. It's amazing that this never went off. And you can imagine the violence. Other shells like this actually exploded on board the Thistlegorm.
The Luftwaffe's bombs made a direct hit on the Thistlegorm's munition store. The explosion must have been enormous.
When the two bombs struck the deck, the secondary explosions were so violent, it lifted a steam train like this one 30 meters into the air. The ship sank very quickly, and it's remarkable that only 9 men lost their lives.
Divers, divers, are you ascending? Are you ascending?
Nice one, Ross. Good.
Oh,
That was good. You enjoyed that?
yeah.
Plenty to see.
Yeah, no.
Isn't it?
It's also just slightly weird to see a wreck with so much stuff on it. We're so used to going down and seeing things being plundered.
Which is amazing. It's like the kind of thing that you envisage when you're a child, or the thing that you see at the bottom of someone's goldfish bowl when you were brought up in the 70s. It's like a piece of history locked beside the ocean. For me, that was very, very special indeed.
It seems possible that the Thistlegorm was targeted by the Germans for the sheer scale of ammunition and supplies she was carrying for the Allies fighting in the desert. But what is the connection between the bombing of the Thistlegorm on the 6th of October 1941 and the sinking of the WWII-era 2 nights later?
Let's talk about the actual strike. I mean, that ship took a massive bomb blast, didn't it?
Yes, yeah. German aircraft dropped 2 bombs on it.
And it happened at night, right?
Yes, yeah. It was almost sort of midnight, so it would have been when most people are asleep.
And of course, 2 bombs striking a ship full of ordnance at night, that's going to send out a massive flare of light.
Oh yeah, that loom of light that comes out will have lit up anything in this area for like 3 or 4 miles quite comfortably.
Our dive boat is sitting directly over the wreck of the Thistlegorm, When those 2 German bombs hit that ship, the explosion would have been so great it would have lit up the night sky, exposing all the other ships that were anchored waiting to go through the Suez Canal. One of them was the WWII-era. The Germans came back and bombed her.
Usually at night, ships are hard to see from the air. But in the Red Sea, there is so little cloud cover that if something is alight, it's incredibly easy to spot. After the sun sets, I notice the burn-off from an oil rig in the distance. It's so bright that I'm able to record it on my mobile phone.
It lit up the entire ocean, and that must have been similar to the view that those pilots had when they dropped the bomb on the Thistlegorm. It would lit up all the boats that were anchorage, and that gave them the opportunity to come back the next night and bomb other boats.
I may have solved the mystery of the bombing of the WWII-era, but it still doesn't explain how the Luftwaffe found the Thistlegorm or what they were doing in the Red Sea so far from their base in Crete in the first place. With just one more day left, my quest is running out of time. But I'm also aware that we have yet to discover any real treasure. So for my last dive, we're investigating a wreck that was known to be carrying the equivalent of £1 million in gold coins when it sank.
Mallory, what's the chance of us finding some gold?
Honestly, 8,000 pieces? I think we have a pretty good chance.
I'm in the Red Sea investigating World War II wrecks.
So, this is the deepest we've been.
I've been uncovering the mystery behind the bombing of the Allied supply ships, the SS Thistlegorm and WWII-era.
Look at the devastation. Torn it apart.
But I'm still hoping I might find real treasure. And my best chance is on a ship that wrecked just before the Suez Canal was opened, the SS Carnatic.
Wow, it's a good-looking ship, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
very pretty. Sleek lines.
She's a luxury liner. She was one of the last ones to have a wooden figurehead on the bow.
Oh, right.
Built at Cubitt Town on the Isle of Dogs in London in 1862 and owned by the P&O Company, the Carnatic was a British steamship that was both a luxury liner and a goods carrier. Prior to the Suez Canal opening, she operated on the key British Empire trading route between the port of Suez and India. British passengers and cargo departing from the UK were dropped off at Alexandria before being transferred by land to Suez, where the Carnatic was waiting for them. But in September 1869, as she set out from Suez, the Carnatic was wrecked right here on the Shahab Abu Nuhas reef.
But it would have been a massive loss at the time. I mean, this is a very expensive ship, plus, what's she carrying?
She's got on board 40,000 pieces of gold.
Now you've got his attention.
Yeah. So, a good deal of shiny stuff.
Yeah, I know we're talking.
A lot of wine.
Now you've got my interest.
They've got bales of cotton, calico.
And people.
And people. So she's got 176 crew, and she's got about 30 passengers.
When the Carnatic hit the reef, at first the captain was convinced that she wouldn't sink and ordered all the passengers and crew to remain on board. He believed they would soon be rescued by the Sumatra, another P&O ship that was expected to pass by soon. But the captain was terribly wrong, and it wasn't long before the Carnatic sank with the loss of around 30 people and most of its cargo.
Mallory, ready?
This is the last dive of our trip, but that also makes it the most dangerous.
So if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong now. So just the last little bit of maximum concentration.
Yeah, Roger,
Concentrate on this dive. Okay, primary's all the way back on.
see this massive iron hull here, just how thick it is.
The Carnatic lies on her port side, with her keel towards the reef at a depth of around 27 meters. Both the bow and the stern of her iron-built hull are still clearly evident, but the midsection was destroyed.
It's amazing to see where this vessel sits at next to the reef. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Exceptional.
The Carnatic's log reveals she was carrying the equivalent of £1 million in gold coins. Anything of value would probably have been stored in the captain's cabin at the stern of the ship.
Should we go that way?
Look around here.
Mallory, what can you see?
You see anything else?
You can see, obviously, the ship, it's 150 years old. It's slowly falling apart. And anything of value has been taken from her.
Sadly, there's no sign of any treasure, but we do find the point at which the ship broke into.
What do you think about this? This is amazing, no?
This is where she broke her back. Sitting on that reef.
Quite amazing.
The damage is so extensive it seems extraordinary that the captain thought the boat wouldn't sink. But then Mallory finds a bit of metal which may help to explain his actions.
Oh, this is interesting.
What is this?
It's lead tingle, kind of thing that would be used to patch a hole, which would have been used to fix the ship.
The tingle is proof of the efforts that the crew were making to fix the holes in the Carnatic's damaged hull and try to save the ship from sinking.
Wow.
That is interesting. It's where the lifeboats would have hung from.
It's a shame you didn't deploy them earlier, right?
Well done, buddy.
Good?
Good. Dive reports well.
I may not have unearthed gold, however, we did find a bit of historic treasure. By trying to patch up the hole with lead tingle, the captain, who made everybody stay on board, was clearly convinced his ship could be saved. It proved to be a terrible miscalculation.
The passengers wanted to get off. It was the captain that said, no, we're just going to stay here, and we're going to wait for another ship to come.
As they waited to be rescued, the repairs didn't hold up against the swells in the water around the reef.
It hits the reef, and it lodges itself on top of the reef.
Yes, and she's scraping a little bit as well because they can't get the sails down. So she's kind of damaging herself continuously until they get
She's
all
doing
of
that.
Yeah.
And
You
then
only want a bit of swell and that hull will be moving on the reef, battering the bottom.
and she's split in two like that.
Yeah.
And once she'd split, the ship went down fast, and although he survived, Captain P.B. Jones would never go to sea again.
He's never a captain again. That's it. He's completely erased from the books.
Career over.
Yeah, he's about 39, so he should have known better. And he should have put the passengers first. He just should have got them off the boat.
My hopes of finding gold may have eluded me, but my whole Red Sea experience has been an extraordinary treasure trove of dives. However, as I head home to the UK, there's still one mystery that I cannot fully explain. War is so often won on the efficient and economic deployment of resources. So why did the Germans go to such lengths and take such risks to destroy two relatively insignificant cargo ships, the Thistlegorm and the WWII-era? What were the Luftwaffe really doing in the Gulf of Suez? Back in Britain, there's one man who I'm sure will have the answer. My old mate and military historian, Bruce Crompton. He believes the Thistlegorm was never the original target of the German Heinkel bombers.
So Bruce, this is it.
I've got to tell you, this is one of the best preserved examples of a Heinkel 111 in the world. The aircraft that would have bombed and taken out those ships in the Red Sea.
So Bruce, what was the range of the HE 111?
About 1,900 kilometres.
And how far was it when it actually dropped the bombs?
About 1,800 kilometres.
So right at the zenith of its range?
Absolutely. But whatever happens, they would have jettisoned the bomb if they hadn't found anything.
Because they never made it back.
They've never made it back.
So why would the Germans risk their pilots' lives for a cargo ship?
You've got to remember, Egypt, the Red Sea area, was a hotbed of intelligence. There were specific missions to take out certain ships. The German intelligence had noted was in the Red Sea, mainly the Queen Mary.
During the war, the Queen Mary transported close to 500,000 troops. Her legendary speed and stealth earned her the nickname the Grey Ghost, and Hitler himself promised the equivalent of $250,000 to any German commander who could sink her. Incredibly, Churchill believed that the actions of this vessel and her sister ship, the Queen Elizabeth, shortened the conflict by an entire year. If the Germans had destroyed the Queen Mary, it could have dramatically altered the outcome of hostilities in the region. When the Thistlegorm was bombed in October 1941, the Germans were actually hunting the Queen Mary, who they believed was in the Red Sea and carrying thousands of Australian troops to North Africa. So it was either a case of mistaken identity or perhaps of military opportunism.
This particular raid, let me tell you, was such a high potential target. They would have sent the best pilots out there. They certainly were looking for the Queen Mary. They couldn't find it. They didn't want to take the bomb back. Target of opportunity, off it went.
Diving on these wrecks has brought me a bit closer to my grandfather. But it has also given me a far greater understanding of the importance of the North African campaign and the Suez Canal. It's a poignant reminder that there are so many places this truly world war could have been won or lost by either side. North Africa, the Pacific, Southern Europe. In the end, though, it was on the beaches of Normandy that this terrible conflict came to a head, and that is where I'm headed next. Next time, I dive wrecks from the greatest seaborne invasion in history.
Wow, the Sherman tank.
I experienced some of my most challenging dives yet.
Where's Ross Kemp?
As I explore the great turning point in World War II, D-Day.